I'm Alexis Lawrence, your adult librarian, and today I felt like we could make some chocolate chip cookies. So I'm going to go ahead and do one of my favorite chocolate chip cookies recipes. These generally come out nice and chewy. Some basic ingredients that you're going to need for this recipe is flour. And I generally use all-purpose flour that I get from Wegmans. Baking soda. You're going to need some vanilla. I like to use real vanilla, but you can also use the imitation vanilla. Butter, salt, brown sugar, and regular sugar. Now for the chocolate chips, you can go ahead and use whatever chocolate chips that you want. They can vary between white chocolate, chocolate chunks, mini chocolate chips, or regular semi-sweet chocolate morsels. What we're going to use today is the semi-sweet chocolate morsels, and I'm going to use half a bag. Generally, using a whole bag is way too much chocolate, but if you're a chocolate lover or chocolate fan, go ahead and dump the whole bag in there. So we're going to go ahead with the recipe. So here's our half a cup. What I'm using right here is a brown sugar container. This container actually keeps my brown sugar from getting hard. It comes with a nice little brown piece that you dip in really cold water to kind of preserve the brown sugar so that it stays nice and moist without getting hard, and I can use it for longer periods of time. If your brown sugar does get hard, you can always microwave it. You're going to do 3/4 of brown sugar, and you're going to make sure you pack that in. Right now I'm using light brown sugar. There's also dark brown sugar in here. Depends on how I feel of what kind of cookie I'm going to make. But this recipe also calls for a half a cup of butter, which is also 1 stick of butter melted. So we're just going to go ahead and pour that in there. It calls for 1 teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to go ahead and mix this up. Now once that's combined together, we're going to add in a teaspoon of vanilla. In addition to that teaspoon, we're also going to add in 1 egg. Alright. And we're going to whisk this all together until it forms a nice consistency. So you want to make sure this is mixed well. Okay, now that that's good and mixed, we are going to switch over to our flour, and that calls for a cup and 1/4 cup of flour, which is already measured out for us. And then it calls for, in the recipe, a half a teaspoon of baking soda. Alright, and then we're going to use a spoon to combine this all together. So you can either use a spoon or a spatula to mix this, and you want to make sure that you're not over mixing the dough. And now we want to also add in the chocolate chips. And like I said, I don't like it too chocolatey, so I tend to use a half a bag. So we're just going to mix the rest of this together. And then this needs to sit for roughly a half an hour, just so that the flavor combines with everything and you get a nice robust taste with the chocolate chip cookies. So our dough is going to look something like this. So we are going to pack this put this in the fridge. We're gonna cover it with a little plastic. Let that sit for 30 minutes. And then once it's done, you are going to put the oven on 350, roll it into a ball, and you will heat it and cook it for 10 to 12 minutes. And we will end up having chocolate chip cookies that look something like this. So thank you for tuning in to Wood Library at Home, and I hope you enjoy your chocolate chip cookies.